Welcome to Holstein Connections, where we share the latest stories, insights, and news from Holstein Association USA and beyond. The largest dairy cattle breed association in the world, Holstein Association USA provides leadership, information, and services to help dairy producers worldwide be successful. Whether you're in the barn, on the road, or just tuning in for your dose of dairy news, we're glad you're here. This is Holstein Connections. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Holstein Connections. I'm your host, Emily Bosch, and joining me today is the current president of Holstein Association USA's Board of Directors, John Burket. John, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Emily. Thanks for the invite.
John, you assumed your role as president of the Holstein Association in June of 2024 during the National Holstein Convention in Salt Lake City, Utah. But this isn't your first time serving on the board of directors. How long have you served on the board of directors and in what capacity?
Well, I was elected in 2014. I served 2 terms, but because of COVID, it was actually 7 years. Of course, each term is 3 years, but I served 7 years on the board. 2 years as vice president, and now serving in my first year as president.
So not only do you have experience on the board of directors already, but you also have a wealth of knowledge and experience as a dairy farmer and registered Holstein breeder. Tell us a little bit about your family and farm and where you come from, John.
Well, I'm the 3rd generation dairyman on our farm, Burket Farm in Blair County, Pennsylvania. That's nestled in the foothills of the Allegheny Mountains. My father started the farm from his father, and my father was 14 years old when his father got injured, and he took over, and it's been there ever since. Dad's 92. He's still active on the farm. We milk about 110 registered Holsteins. The majority of our herd now, 90% plus, is naturally polled. Half to 2/3 are either red or red carriers, and we haven't really expanded in those years. Our goal was always to get better, not bigger, but it's been a great way of life for 4 generations now, and the plans is to keep it that way into the future.
That's exciting to be thinking about the future as well as your rich history in the Holstein business as well. So take us back to when you first started becoming involved in the Holstein Association. Did it start at the local level, and how did it progress from there, John?
Yeah, it certainly did. There's a picture of me when I was 4 years old reading A Holstein World, and I don't remember that particular moment, but I was always quick to grab the cow magazines and the Holstein magazines and read them, because that was my passion from the time I was able to walk. I started in Holstein activities when I was 8 years old in 4-H, and I couldn't wait to get started. My 7th year of life, I think, was the longest year of my life, because I was anticipating being able to show when I was 8, and the rest is history. I mean, I joined 4-H, and then I joined the County Holstein Club, and then I joined the State Holstein Club as a junior member. And then just progressed to the national level. But it all started with junior programs, Holstein programs, 4-H, and I never looked back. It was always forward, and what could I do next?
Well, those programs certainly all do a great job of preparing future leaders such as yourself. So what made you want to run for the board of directors initially after you've had those experiences on the more local level? How did you become involved on a national scale?
Well, it was is my passion for the Holstein cow. I mean, my whole life revolves around the Holstein. I don't necessarily take vacations to the shore, or hunting, or to skiing. I mean, everything I do has a Holstein connected to it in some way. So that was always a natural fit for me to try to continue to be involved in the Holstein business in some way. And secondly, without a doubt, it's the people that's involved in the Holstein business. I mean, they're the best people in the world. We can connect, across our state, across our country, and around the world, and we all have something in common to talk about, visit about, socialize about, and it's all I really know how to do.
It is certainly fun to watch, whether it's our board members at a board meeting or our members at a national Holstein convention from different parts of the country or different types of dairy farms all come together and talk about their shared passions and similarities. So, John, what are some of those memorable experiences that you had during those 7 years that you served as an area director on the board of directors?
Well, there's many. I mean, I can't really think of any one in particular, but it's kind of the never-ending pursuit to better what we already have. And I mean, it's the camaraderie, of course, but I mean, it's interesting. We're all different in a lot of respects, but we're all motivated by the same thing, and we all want the same thing as a better cow to work with. So there's been lots of memories. Some of them are personal, and you don't maybe talk about them on a podcast, but it's just the collective things that we all work for in the industry that we're in.
Absolutely. What about any like new initiatives or projects that the Holstein Association got off the ground during your time on the board?
Well, that's always been an exciting part of serving on the board because former CEO Meyer challenged us, all the time to be visionaries as he was, to be looking ahead. And I'll never forget. I mean, he challenged us when I was one of my early meetings on the board was to a 2030 review and what the future will look like in 2030. And it really brought out a lot of good discussion, and we really started some initiatives from that study or experiment that came to fruition. One is Marketplace Sires. I mean, Marketplace Sires came out of that review. A lot of discussion was put behind it, and I'm happy to say that I was part of the initial discussion with Marketplace Sires. I think Marketplace Sires is going to be around for a while. It's made a positive impact in our industry, and I continue to think it will going forward. Our step forward in communications and RFD-TV, our partnership with them started in a conversation that John Meyer and I had in Scranton, Pennsylvania, at a Pennsylvania State Holstein convention. And I think that's one of the best things we've done for our association in recent times is communicate our story, tell our story. And overall, our communications at Holstein has never been better. And thanks to you and Part Emily for all you do. But we have got a great story. It's fun to tell. People like hearing it. And I'm glad to help tell the story if I can.
It certainly is a wonderful story to tell, and it's been really fun to see how programs like Holstein Marketplace Sires and Holstein America and our presence on RFD TV has really grown over recent years. So what drove you, after you had those 7 years of experience on the board of directors, to put your name in the hat again to serve as first vice president and then eventually as president of the board of directors?
Well, I can tell you, being an officer, a vice president, or president was really never on my bucket list when I was on the board. I served probably the first 6 years, and I don't think it ever crossed my mind. If there was ever a thought that I thought, I certainly don't want to be sitting where the president is sometime. I don't want to have to do all that they have to do. But sometimes the stars line up, and that's kind of what happened to me. Things fell in place. I had some people come to me and encourage me to do it. And in part, I didn't want to disappoint a few of my mentors and people that I looked up to. And they said, hey, John, you really need to consider this. And I did. And I'm glad I did. I have no regrets whatsoever.
Well, it's fun to watch you serve. And I think sometimes when a mentor, someone that you respect, encourages you to do something, it's certainly a sign or the stars aligning that you should take the leap and do it. So you're serving as president during a transitional time in the organization's history. Of course, CEO John Meyer, who you just mentioned, retired, and CEO Lindsay Warden took the reins here in January. They're certainly both wonderful leaders. What has it been like to work with both of them, especially during this time of transition for the association?
Well, undoubtedly, one of the most enjoyable experiences and positive experiences of my time on the board has been this transition. And ironically, before I ever signed on to run for vice president, the thought was in the back of my mind, well, I hope John Meyer don't decide to step aside anytime soon, at least through my presidency. And uh, that wouldn't be a good thing for me. But however, John did decide to retire, and everything worked out just seamlessly. I mean, John was a true professional in every way, and he wouldn't have stepped aside or decided to retire if if everything wasn't in order for the best of Holstein. And of course, Lindsay's been there 17 years. I mean, she knows Holstein USA like the back of her hand, and it was just an easy transition, a natural choice, and it worked out. It worked out really, really well for everyone. What has been exciting about the transition is that Lindsay Warden embraces the future of Holstein Association USA. She represents a younger, more technology driven, and informed membership, and that's exciting for everyone.
Thank you, John, for the insight on the transition process and sharing your excitement for the future of the association. Before we learn more about what it's like to serve on the board, a quick look at some of Holstein Association USA's products and services.
Ordering ear tags just got easier with myholstein.com. Holstein Association USA's new online tag store features clearly displayed tag product categories, pictures of every tag option, and easily visible volume discounts. With order confirmation emails, shipping updates, and faster turnaround times, you'll know when your tags are on the way. Plus, enjoy pre-filled account details and access to order history for faster reorders, because we know your time is valuable. Order ear tags anytime, anywhere with the new mobile-friendly website. Visit myholstein.com to log in and place an order today. That's myholstein.com.
It's easier than ever to take advantage of Holstein USA's programs and services and the added value of registered Holsteins with Holstein Complete. A convenient all-in-one package, Holstein Complete bundles Holstein Association USA's core services such as registration, classification, pedigrees, genetic reports, production records, and more. Holstein Complete customers save an average of 20%. With convenient monthly payments and discounts on additional services, Holstein Complete helps you maximize the value of your registered Holsteins. Learn more at holsteinusa.com. Sign up today to complete your herd. That's Holstein, HOLSTEIN, USA.com.
Now, maybe transitioning a little bit to the actual board meeting itself, give us a little glimpse into just generally what a board meeting looks like. How many times a year does the board meet? How are they structured? And what type of business do you discuss during them?
Well, contrary to popular opinion at one time, board meetings are not a social retreat. Uh, I don't know how they got that reputation. Maybe at one time, they were off on the beach sipping martinis and enjoying that venue, but they are works in progress. I mean, they are work sessions. We start early, we work late. CEO Meyer structured them so that it was all business. And we look forward to that being business. I mean, his management by objective management style that he implemented, it's very straightforward. As I said, it's very structured. Uh, it's just a nice way of doing business. Um, you got to kind of be involved to fully appreciate it, but the amount of discussion that we have, the in-depth discussion we have, is quite impressive. I mean, I've often said we leave no stone unturned when it comes to making decisions, and we look at every aspect of it. But they're very enlightening. When you leave most meetings, you do feel tired, maybe exhausted, but there's a completeness about it all too that everyone put forth their best effort.
Absolutely. And they only happen 3 times a year, so you definitely want to maximize the time when you are together and you have everyone there and you can have those discussions.
Certainly. I mean, we do meet 3 times. We meet in the spring, we meet in the summer at National Convention, then we meet again in the fall. We do have a fair amount of meetings via Zoom or teleconference. The communication between Holstein and the board is really second to none. And CEO Meyer designed it that way. He wanted good communication, and we do continue to fulfill that obligation to one another.
So, President Burket, what has been your favorite part about serving on the Holstein Board of Directors?
Well, again, I mean, to just make a difference, to make our association, our CAL, a better association, uh, that part is all a positive. One of the things that I do enjoy is the travel that's involved in it. I mean, I've had the opportunity to travel not only across the country, but around the world on Holstein's behalf. And it's very rewarding to travel internationally and to see how much Holstein USA, not only our genetics, but our association is appreciated worldwide. Whether they admit to it or not, we are looked up to. We are the envy of the rest of the world when it comes to Holstein genetics and Holstein Association. And I'm always proud to put the Holstein badge on and represent Holstein around the world. So that's an opportunity that otherwise I wouldn't have, but Holstein makes that all possible. So.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about where you've been to represent Holstein internationally and what the reception is like in those countries. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that experience.
Well, I've had the opportunity to go to the extremes from the Dominican Republic and judge a show and talk to their Holstein breeders and have meetings with them, to the other end of the spectrum as in Japan and visit with Japanese breeders. I mean, I've seen the whole gamut of breeders, but the enthusiasm, it don't matter what country you go to. Uh, I was even in Guatemala a few years ago and judged their show and spoke to the Holstein breeders. The enthusiasm in Guatemala is as strong as the enthusiasm in Japan. And their respect for U.S. Holstein genetics and our association is very equal. And it's just, they roll the red carpet out for you. You feel a little bit not comfortable in that environment, at least for me, because I like to stay, under the radar. But they just show their appreciation for us showing up and us supporting them and working with them in their quest to breed a better Holstein. So it's all part of the network of Holstein that makes it unique.
And that shared passion for the Holstein cow is certainly something that everyone who shares it can connect on and appreciate. So, John, what has been the most rewarding part of serving on the board for you?
Well, the rewarding part, I guess, is just making a positive difference. And we have. It's sometimes the little things and the things that don't happen overnight. I mean, there's certain things that has been in the works for several years till it comes to fruition, but it's all worth the effort. And then, the relationships you have, the relationships you build, the camaraderie amongst board members and the members. I don't know of another organization, ag or non-ag, that has the networking that Holstein has, and it's just so rewarding, so refreshing, and it gives us an opportunity, to get out and learn from one another, see how each other's doing it, not only again in our country but in different countries, and it's just a whole package of rewarding experiences that Holstein has presented.
Absolutely. So, serving on the board of directors is certainly one way to become involved in the Holstein Association, but serving on a committee is another way that members can be involved, maybe on a little bit of a smaller scale at the national level. Talk a little bit about the different committees that we have, how often they meet, and how they work together and what they do.
Well, Emily, the committee structure at Holstein is really the meat and potatoes, the nuts and the bolts of our association and how things actually happen. Our committee meeting structure, if you go to a genetic advancement or confirmation meeting, or like we had earlier today, an audit committee meeting, you really appreciate the in-depth thought and work that's done behind the scenes that then comes to the board and presented to the board, and then the board generally supports it, not always, but I would encourage anyone with a passion, with anything to do with Holstein, be it genetics, be it finances, legislative, juniors, to get involved, because that's where you really make things happen with Holstein USA. And I would encourage anyone with a passion for any of those areas to talk to someone, make a phone call, talk to a board member. And as president, I assign a lot of people to these committees. I can't assign everyone because we just don't have enough spots, but make it known to people that you would want to participate, and it's a great way to get involved, and you make a difference, believe it or not.
And I think the cool thing about a committee too is you can choose that or hone in on that area that you're maybe have more experience in it or are more passionate about, whether it's genetics or juniors or whatever that may be as well. So members can also serve as a delegate during our annual meeting, which of course takes place during National Holstein Convention, which is always fun. What does that experience of serving as a delegate look like?
Well, I think I was a delegate when I was 18 years old, the first year you was eligible. I remember my dad nominated me and I got elected and I served as a delegate. And I probably served as a delegate maybe 25 times, I don't know, pretty often. But it really makes the connection between the grassroots, the state, and the National Association. It's a great way to learn of all the moving parts of Holstein USA. You meet people from around the world. It's a great way to get involved in the governance program, and I encourage everyone that has any interest in Holstein to participate if they possibly can.
I think it's a wonderful experience, and it's also fun to be at National Holstein Convention and see the energy of the junior members there and hear about what's going on in the Holstein Association as well. So John, I think you've already shared some words of wisdom with us here today, but what advice would you give to someone who wants to be more involved in the Holstein Association?
Well, I would encourage them to go to any Holstein meetings, shows, sales, contact your directors in your area, state or national, ask questions, share with them your interest in being a participant. Sometimes all it takes is a call, and we're happy to receive those calls because we're always looking for new people, young people, people with different ideas, people with different backgrounds, because it makes our organization stronger. The more variety, the more varied backgrounds, I think, is a plus for the whole organization. So I really don't ever hesitate to pick up the phone, call me, call a national director, and just talk to them. Just a conversation is healthy and productive.
Absolutely. And any specific advice for someone who's maybe interested in running for the board of directors specifically?
Yeah, I think if you're thinking of running for a director, and I would encourage anyone with a passion about Holstein to do that, call a director that you know, or if you don't know any, call any one of them, and I can assure you they would be happy to take the call. They'll answer any questions you may have honestly and tell you the pros and cons of being a director, which there's very few cons. There is a bit of a time requirement, but there's also a misconception too about running for director and being on the board, that it isn't, a huge time commitment like we discussed. We meet 3 times a year. We have phone conferences from time to time. You are compensated for your travel and time away. So it can be a very positive experience, and don't be afraid, or don't consider it because you think it's too much of a time commitment. It really isn't.
Absolutely. And John, what excites you about the future of the dairy industry in general, and then of course our Holstein Association as well?
Well, I'm excited about the Holstein Association and the Holstein cow for many reasons. I've been here 6 decades, and I think I'm as excited today as I ever have about the Holstein cow. In part is because if we're in the Holstein business, we're also in the milk business. And in recent years, I mean, we have changed, the American people have kind of changed their thinking on diet. We now have the American Medical Association, for the most part, in our corner. They have realized the benefits in dairy in our diet. Our population continues to grow, not only here, but around the world. And there's really, in my opinion, no better quality food than dairy products from dairy cattle. So that part I think is really exciting. We're going to continue to need dairy, and I want to be part of that program and supporting dairy. Along with that is the added value of registered Holsteins and identified Holsteins, and it's going to continue to make them more in demand, more valuable. The beef on dairy aspect of it just creates another caviar that, again, I think is going to be a net plus. And people are using beef now because of the added value. I really think in the not too distant future, that the value of those ID calves, identified calves, are going to be worth more than the blacks, and therefore going to put more value on registered Holsteins. So I am excited about it, and I think it's a great time to be in the Holstein business. And I just think the future is limitless, really.
There are lots of positives that we see and things to look forward to, certainly, I think. John, as we wrap up here, is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything that we missed talking about?
Well, I have two quick thoughts, Emily, and I guess I've said this, and I get opportunities to speak to different groups from time to time, and my message to the dairy industry is if you're producing milk today, Holstein USA has services and programs that will enhance your bottom line. We have a wide variety of programs, from genetic testing to classification to milk testing, the whole gamut of things that if you're producing milk, there's something that Holstein has that will fit into your program. So I continue to encourage people to look hard at the services we have. Our programs and services booklet is a great tool to look at and see what all we have. So I strongly encourage everyone to be a participant in Holstein at some level. And secondly, as I continue to say, the best kept secret we have is our juniors. I continue to be impressed about what our juniors do once leaving the junior programs, and they get out in the world and they shape the world in ways that are so positive in today's society. And that's all a result of our junior programs and how these young people get involved, the mentors they have, our YDLI program, and all the things that just mold these young people into great leaders in the future. And we talk about our Holsteins, we talk about our great production, we talk about our great conformation, but our product that we send into society that might be our best product is our young kids and grandkids. And we can't forget to tell that story as well.
Because they're our future, right? And whether they're working in the dairy industry or the agricultural industry or another industry altogether, they still take those experiences with them that they had as a junior member. And that's really cool to think about.
It's amazing how many stories you hear about people. I mean, and again, maybe not in ag, but they get out there in another vocation, but their roots go back to dairy. Their roots go back to showing when they were in 4-H or FFA. And it is that connect that we have that is a story unique to the Holstein Association and to dairy in general.
Absolutely. Well, John, thank you so much for joining me today. And as we wrap up, I thought it would be fun to end with some 5 would you rather questions, just for all of our listeners to get to know you a little bit better here. I think this first one might be easy for you, John, but black and white or red and white Holsteins?
Really, Emily? No preference as long as they're good.
All right, I like that answer. Do you prefer an early morning milking shift or a late night barn check? And you probably have to do both, but
I'll take the early morning shift.
What about cheddar, mozzarella cheese?
Cheddar.
If you were a junior member, would you rather compete in Dairy Bowl or Dairy Jeopardy?
Dairy Bowl.
And then, so you're in Pennsylvania, so kind of in the Northeast there. Would you rather head south or west for a National Holstein Convention?
West.
West. Wonderful. Well, thank you, President Burket. It was a pleasure to have you on today. I really appreciate everything you shared, and I'd welcome you back as a podcast guest anytime. So thank you, John.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Holstein Connections. Whether you're in the barn, on the road, or just tuning in for your dose of dairy news, we're glad you're here. Until next time, this is Holstein Connections.